For what purpose did the gentleman from Maryland rise?
Madam Speaker, I have a motion to recommit at the desk.
Is the gentleman opposed to the bill?
I am opposed.
The gentleman qualifies. The clerk will report the motion.
Mr. Delaney of Maryland moves to recommit the bill.
Consent to dispense with the reading.
Is there objection to the gentleman's motion? Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is the final amendment to the bill, which will not kill the bill or send it back to committee. If adopted, the bill will immediately proceed to final passage as amended. Madam Speaker, imagine if this Congress was focused on how the forces of innovation and globalization were changing our economy and making it harder for our businesses to compete, large and small. Madam Speaker, imagine if this Congress was focused on the fact that while we're creating jobs, we're increasingly creating two types of jobs: high-skilled jobs reserved for those people with the best educations, and low-skilled, low-paid jobs. And increasingly, we're not creating middle-skilled jobs, the kind of jobs that have supported middle-class families for decades. And then, Madam Speaker, imagine if this Congress was focused on the fact that while the standard of living of the average American is going down, the friction in their life is going up, including the fact that so many of them have longer commutes, overbearing commutes, because of inadequate transportation, commutes that are taking time away from their families and from their communities. Madam Speaker, if this Congress was focused on those three things, then it would quickly conclude that our top domestic economic priority should be increasing our investment in our infrastructure. Because this Congress would understand that rebuilding America makes us more competitive. This Congress would understand that a national infrastructure program is the best jobs program we could have because it creates good jobs and it's sound economics. And this Congress would understand that better infrastructure improves the quality of life of our constituents, and because it's been so bipartisan for so many years, it could be something that unifies us, and it would understand that rebuilding America is not an expense, but an investment, and we would probably score it that way dynamically. But unfortunately, Madam Speaker, that's not the Congress we have here this evening, because we are doing precisely the opposite this evening, and we are cutting our investment in infrastructure. And when you look at the facts, that's a strange conclusion indeed. But, Madam Speaker, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that one day, hopefully soon, this Congress can do something transformative around infrastructure and rebuild our country. And I believe we can pay for it by fixing our broken international tax system, where we have trillions of dollars trapped overseas, and creating pathways for that money to come back to rebuild our country. But while we wait for that day to happen, Madam Speaker, we still should be doing smart and sensible things to improve our infrastructure, and my amendment does that. My amendment increases funding for Amtrak so they can better implement the positive train control system, which is technology that is proven to make commuter rail trains safer. The National Transportation Safety Board has said that if this system was in place since 2004, we would have had 30 fewer accidents, including preventing that terrible tragedy that we all stood here and mourned about 30 days ago in Pennsylvania. So I ask my colleagues to support the amendment to increase funding for Amtrak so that they can better implement smart technology, the positive train control system. Like most investments in infrastructure, it's good for our constituents, in this case public safety, and it's also a good investment for our country. And I urge support of the Democratic motion to recommit, and I yield back, Madam Speaker.